Yeah, I think in Switch we cover almost all the challenges. But in case of China, so we think the government, because the government play a big role. So maybe in Switch we should address then how to lobby the government to involve in this learning alliances.
Well, I think Switch covered quite a lot. What is missing, I think, mainly is the economical side or socio-economical, which could tie a lot together also. Eventually, the cities will have to invest money in order to pursue what Switch has been advising, and they look at the budgets. So this aspect, it's still not too late. I mean, another year of work and it could be done.
Oh, I think there are so many gaps. There will always be gaps in any small or large research programs. What I think and what I found in the last couple of days in the discussions is that there's a lot. What we need is integration. There have been comprehensive models have been developed in cities. In other cities, you see that there's a very much linked process being undertaken with research and demonstrations, but we don't know if it's applicable in other cities. So what I think the major gap now is the challenge is this integration, and I see that this is coming up with this transitioning process. I think it's tremendously important to do more work on that.
Well, I think we really didn't think about the political nature of water management in cities enough, and we need to think more about how to understand the political process and factor that into the decision making. Also, I think we need to get better explaining the benefits of what we're doing, so not just the science and the indicators and the numbers, but what it means to people and governments to do this.
I have an idea how to do it. I'm not sure how practical it is, but I would try to form an NGO or a non-profit organization named Switch to continue this. And I think if there is a good leader, there could be also money get in there to continue the work and the influence.
But I think the most important thing is that is the social capital of Switch. Yeah? We build capacities of people to meet, to discuss, and amongst them there are a couple of people who will continue the way they did it before, but there are also some people who are changed. And I think the most important thing now is to maintain relationships and support each other of those people. So that will be like an informal, informal communities for practice, informal meetings. And maybe also we can have some new activities funded by the different actors of the learning alliances, the authorities or utilities, or as we are doing now, develop new projects and get funding from outside to continue this process.
I think what would be really useful is if every partner, and we have 33 partners in Switch, thought about how they're applying the principles that we've come up with in their own organizations, and really made a move to change the way their organizations operate to be Switch organizations.
Yeah, I think the Learning Alliance is very important because we think in the future, since the Learning Alliance still can play a big role in implement the Switch, the program in China.
Well, hopefully, we talked a bit about this yesterday, but I think the Switch brand is very strong and the idea of Switch is very strong. So I hope we've started a ripple in the pond that carries on to the future. I also think the network that has come about because of Switch, the cities that are talking now, that will go forward and that will be our legacy.
First of all, we will be remembered as a very comprehensive struggle that we all did together. And I think also that made an impact in a lot of cities. Maybe internationally, as Carla was saying, there are a number of platforms where we have made impressive presentations. People are interested in what we're doing, but I think specifically in the cities we have been working with, we will be remembered as motivated people that have tried together to set up a process. And not all of that will remain, but I think the effort as such will be appreciated, and we have made small changes in policies, small changes in thinking, and sometimes also real impact on the ground where people got a better living. I think your example, Monica, is one good example in Bogota, but there are other examples as well in cities where the people we are doing it for have felt the impact of switch.
I think the legacy would be that every person, every citizen has an opinion, and it should be valued and evaluated. But on the other hand, the final word should be by the professionals.
Yes, again, I think it's a legacy, particularly in China. There's a Learning Alliance. It's a very good. So we can keep people to sit together and try to solve the problem together. Like that's the I think the important legacy of a switch, particularly in China, because in the past it's very difficult for people in China to talk to each other in the formal or informal ways. The switch, I think, it's just introduced a very good tool.